Close your eyes for a fleeting moment and envision two harvests of ginger, both nurtured through the very same season, under the very same weather, and beneath the very same sky. Yet when the spade breaks the earth at the close of autumn, one plot yields only shriveled, pale, and meager roots, so tiny they vanish in the palm of your hand, bringing a heavy sorrow after months of patient waiting. On the other side, springing from an identical rhizome, the earth surrenders a colossal, moisture-laden cluster of roots, carrying the brilliant golden hue of sunlight, a magnificent creation of nature that demands anyone to pause and admire it in quiet reverence. The vast chasm between these two outcomes is not the playful whim of the weather, nor the favor of blind luck. And it certainly does not stem from pouring money into expensive synthetic fertilizers. The power to dictate the harvest rests entirely within three profoundly quiet decisions, made long before the first piece of ginger ever touches Mother Earth. These decisions have been guarded by traditional farming communities across generations, yet carelessly forgotten by the haste of modern agriculture. If you have ever sown a piece of ginger, devotedly watered it day after day, patiently waiting through the long summer, only to be met with a barren, decaying patch of dirt, you have likely blamed yourself. A whisper in your mind may have troubled you. Perhaps this soil is unforgiving. Perhaps I lack the touch of a true gardener. Lay that burden down immediately. Ginger has never been a temperamental or fragile person. Originating from the misty, tropical rainforests of Southeast Asia and finding its way into the agrarian ledgers of Europeans in the 16th century, it is one of the most generous plants Mother Earth has ever woven into existence. The vast majority of failed ginger crops do not stem from an inability to adapt to the soil. This quiet withering began long before you ever carried the root into your home. The root of this silent failure is the very first misstep and obstacle, responsible for a higher rate of loss than impoverished soil and improper watering combined. In modern society, we often casually select a plump, unblemished, and brilliantly clean hand of ginger from a supermarket shelf, hoping it will sprout life when buried in the loam. That is an inaccurate assumption engineered by the commercial supply chain. The vast majority of conventional supermarket ginger has had its life force suppressed by a protective coating known as a sprout inhibitor. In the 1950s, as the agricultural chemical industry exploded, this compound was applied merely to ensure ginger could sit on a shelf for months without sprouting or shriveling, securing an aesthetic perfection for inventory systems. This chemical layer acts as a biological fortress, forcing the ginger to lie dormant in the dark, week after week, while you exhaust yourself watering it. Ultimately, it simply rots away beneath the soil. To overcome this barrier, your paramount decision is this: always begin with organic ginger or heirloom roots passed down from local farmers. Organic ginger carries a pure, natural sap, untouched by synthetic preservatives. The very moment it is granted warmth and moisture, it will awaken. However, even among a basket of organic ginger, you must learn to choose wisely. Guided by the Amish philosophy of revering nature, do not select long, sprawling branches that feel weightless. Choose pieces that fit snugly in your palm, yet bear a heavy, dense, and solid weight. That weight is not excess water. It is a vault of vital sap. It is the ultimate reserve of energy the plant will draw upon during those critical first weeks of survival before its fragile roots can anchor into the earth to sustain themselves. A featherweight piece of ginger is a life that has already been exhausted from the very beginning. The next step in your selection is to observe its surface with quiet intent. Hold the ginger up to your eye level and search for the small, swollen nodules protruding from the skin. In biology, these are the crown buds. In the language of the gardener, they are the sparks of life. Every single nodule represents a proud, towering stalk destined to rise in the future. And every one of those stalks will harness the power of the sun to channel nourishment downward, forging a colossal cluster of roots beneath the earth. An abundance of buds today guarantees an abundant harvest tomorrow. This is not mere theory, it is the most undeniable law of survival. Choose the ginger with the greatest number of eyes, and you have already secured half the victory. Yet before that spark of life is surrendered to Mother Earth, it requires a ritual of awakening. Scarcely any modern gardening manual will remind you of this. Pour room temperature water into a rustic ceramic bowl and add 2 tablespoons of raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar for every quart of water. Why apple cider vinegar? This is a profound understanding of its origins. The ancestors of ginger were born beneath the canopy of ancient tropical rainforests, where the falling rain carried a beautifully mild, natural acidity. A drop of apple cider vinegar blending into the water flawlessly recreates that primal chemical signature, sending a cascading signal to awaken the millennia-old memories slumbering within the ginger's cells. Simultaneously, the vinegar acts as a natural purifier, gently washing away any mold spores hiding upon the skin. Steep them in this elixir for 10 to 14 hours. Leaving them in the quiet stillness of the night is absolute perfection. In the dark, the ginger cells drink their fill, and the buds begin to swell. The deep dormancy is entirely shattered. The plant is prepared for life before it ever touches a single grain of earth. When the dawn breaks, lift them out and use a remarkably sharp blade to slice the large hands of ginger into smaller pieces, ensuring each fragment carries 2 to 3 buds. And now, a lesson in unhurried patience. Do not plant them immediately. Wherever the blade has sliced, an open wound is weeping sap, incredibly vulnerable. If you bury a damp weeping cut into moist soil, naturally occurring bacteria and mold will instantly invade, causing decay before the fine root hairs can even emerge. Lay those fragments of ginger on a clean wooden shelf in a breezy, shaded spot. Yield to the passage of time for 1 to 2 days. In this process, the plant sap dries, transmuting the cut into a hardened, dry callus. That protective skin is the most flawless suit of armor. Once the wound has completely closed, your ginger is finally ready to embrace the earth. Dear friend, as we allow our souls to drift together into the boundless patience of nature, where even a piece of ginger requires time to heal its own wounds before sprouting new life, you surely feel a quiet stillness radiating through your mind. If you are someone yearning to return to primal truths, longing to cast off the hurried pace of industrial agriculture, to cultivate a healing garden for your family with your own hands, then we are walking the same path. Please take a peaceful moment to gently press the like button and subscribe to the channel. Your rustic shared comments about the young shoots emerging in the corner of your garden are the warmest companionship, offering the strength I need to continue sharing traditional ecological philosophies, returning the heirloom seeds of autonomy safely back into your hands. Returning to the journey of our ginger, it is now time to prepare its cradle. The second common mistake made by many is choosing the wrong vessel. People often select incredibly deep pots, assuming ginger behaves like deep-rooted tubers. The reality is quite the opposite. Ginger roots develop horizontally. They do not plunge straight toward the bottom of the pot. Instead, they creep just beneath the surface of the topsoil, sprawling outward in every direction in search of space. Therefore, a cavernous pot is unnecessary. Instead, seek out an exceedingly wide container with a diameter of at least 12 to 16 inches. Every single inch of horizontal expansion is a gift of space for the plant to birth a new cluster of ginger. And this is a matter of life and death. There must be an exceptional drainage system at the bottom. Ginger was born in the rainforest. It loves moisture, but fiercely rejects being waterlogged. A pot that pools water will drown all your quiet efforts. The soil recipe to nurture ginger is a symphony of friability. Take 2 parts of rich, loamy compost as the foundation. Next, fold in 1 part of well-aged manure. In the Amish philosophy, one must absolutely never scatter raw, fresh manure around tender roots. Fresh manure burns with a high heat and carries an overwhelming concentration of ammonia that will severely damage the delicate root hairs the moment they bloom. Well-aged manure is different. It is pitch black cool to the touch and acts as a natural ecosystem teeming with microbes that quietly release nutrients day by day to feed the plant. Next, sprinkle in 1 part of perlite. These porous white stones play a supporting role, engineering countless microscopic air pockets beneath the earth, allowing the ginger roots to breathe and ensuring excess water drains away instantly. Finally, the secret to an abundant harvest: blend in a generous handful of bone meal. Bone meal is a treasure trove of natural phosphorus. If you rely on nitrogen-heavy fertilizers, the plant will merely focus on pushing out a lush green canopy without ever forming tubers. Phosphorus is the biological signal that commands the plant to channel all its vital force into engineering a dense, heavy, and colossal root network beneath the earth. When the cradle is ready, we arrive at the 3rd mistake, the quietest error yet, the one that dashes the hopes of even seasoned gardeners: planting the ginger too deep. A natural instinct to protect often urges us to dig a deep hole to hide the ginger away, believing that deeper means safer. But Mother Earth operates on her own laws. Ginger is a creature of the surface. It was born to lie shallow, where it can embrace the warmth of the sun filtering through the soil. If buried too deep, 2 trials arise. First, the crushing weight of the dense earth pressing down will exhaust the fragile shoots before they can ever break the surface. Second, the bottom of the pot is always the coldest and most prone to holding stagnant water, an environment that breeds devastating root rot. Therefore, you need only bury the ginger piece to a depth of roughly 1 to 2 inches, just enough for a thin blanket of soil to cover its surface. Lay the ginger horizontally, pointing the buds straight toward the sky, yielding to its innate yearning for the light. If planting multiple pieces, space them about 6 inches apart. The space that seems wasted now will be tightly packed with colossal roots come the autumn harvest. Cover it gently with earth, absolutely refusing to press down with heavy force. Then employ a highly effective practice from the art of traditional gardening: drape a cloak over the earth. Scatter a layer of aged straw, dry leaves, or wood chips about 1 inch thick across the top. This fragile mulch prevents moisture from evaporating, rapidly cools the soil during the blistering midday summer sun, and forms a warm blanket when the cold night descends. It is the flawless protective shield for the ginger resting so shallowly near the surface. The journey from this moment onward is an exercise in understanding the language of water and light. Ginger desires a moderate dampness, much like a sponge that has been thoroughly wrung out. It must never be allowed to sit soggy, nor should it ever turn bone dry. Plunge your finger about 1 inch into the earth. If it feels cool and moist, be patient and wait another day before watering. Regarding light, remember its origins beneath the forest canopy. It yearns for the golden, radiant beams of the morning sun, but requires shelter from the harsh, scorching blaze of the summer afternoon. Place the pot where it will greet the morning light and find cool shade in the afternoon. If the edges of the leaves begin to dry and turn yellow, it is suffering under the pressure of too much sun. If the stalks grow long, spindly, and weak, it is starving for light. Let the leaves guide you in adjusting it to the perfect sanctuary. Eight to 10 months later, a majestic cycle will draw to a close. As the crisp, golden winds of autumn sweep through the ginger canopy, will naturally turn yellow, and the stalks will bow down to the earth. Do not feel sorrow. This is the mark of fulfillment. The plant has completed its mission of channeling all the gathered energy of the summer down into the depths of the pot. Use your hands to gently loosen the earth from the rim inward. As the loamy humus falls away, your fingers will brush against them. An abundant, heavy cluster of roots bearing a natural golden hue, as thick and solid as a human hand, radiating a signature warm, earthy fragrance. All of that glory stems from one tiny fragment of root which you chose, awakened, and nurtured with boundless patience. Life, in the end, always handsomely rewards those who know how to revere the quiet, unhurried rhythm of nature.